Hello and welcome back. So last time we created an HTTP request using JavaScript. Very good. But there's an easier way of doing it, believe it or not. So let's see how we can do it. Actually, there's that method is right here. As you can see, where is it? I just noticed it there, right there, fetch. Very simple. This looks a whole lot simpler than this, doesn't it? Yeah, agreed. So instead of doing it this way, because we always have to add the event listener, we always have to create this object, we always have to open and send, so it was all simplified. So let's see how we can simplify it further. So I'll leave this function here for comparison's sake. So let's create a new function and we're going to call this one get data. What do we call this one? Get data new. Let's just put it to lazy like that. Okay, so get data to. So the idea here is to run just one function. So the function is called fetch, like that. Okay, so fetch, and what do? You give it your URL. So let's copy this constant that has our URL there. Let me just put it right here. Okay, our URL, and fetch, and all we have to do is put our URL like that, and that's it, believe it or not. However, this is not very practical because we need to get the information back, right? But otherwise, this is it, believe it or not. So how do we retrieve the information? Like the problem I had mentioned earlier, where if I say var output is equal to fetch, like so, this is going to return what is known as a promise. So what exactly is a promise? So what we do, let's just do a console.log. I hope it won't cause an error and it's actually going to work, so that you can see that this is returning a promise. So what I'm doing is I'm just saying this variable here in the output is going to be equal to fetch whatever we'll fetch from this URL, right? And let's just console.log the output. Simple, easy peasy. So the event listener here will change to data 2 so that we run the other function and not this old one. This one has been retired. Okay, so let's come back here and back to the API. Let's refresh and let's see if we get something. So wait, what did I do here? I said console.log. Yes, console.log. Oh my god, things have switched off. My display driver gave up there for a second and everything just went blank. So I had to press Control Alt Delete. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so we're back here. Let's try and fetch. Now we must show the console here. So let's go to the console.log, the console, because we're sending our result to the console. So click fetch and let's see. Looky there. What do we have? We have a promise. That's what we are returning, and the promise is pending. So let's click here and see what we have in here. There's a value, there's a response, there's a URL. Okay, so it looks like we're getting something called a promise. So what exactly is this? The promise is it's a promise to the variable that whenever the data comes back from this fetch, we're going to give you that data afterwards, right? So that's a promise that was returned. So in that way, what happens is if I run this thing right here, I tell it fetch some data, but it's not going to wait for that data to come back. The code is going to continue executing to the next level, next. Whatever code is down here is going to continue to execute. But by the time that data comes back, this variable is going to contain the result of that data. That's why it's a promise. So the problem is that you don't know when that information is going to come back. So if you have a bunch of code running after this line, you don't know at what point is this data going to contain, this variable going to contain the data that you want. So it's not very safe to use it immediately like that because you don't really know. So these clever guys decided, okay, with a fetch function, we're just going to put something called, we're going to put another function inside it called dot then, like this. Okay. So what is that? Now what this is oh, wait a minute. So what this is a function inside the fetch. So this function is run immediately the result is returned. Now look here where we created an event listener, and then we are listening for a particular result here, like so. Yeah, so with this, you don't need to do all this, add an event listener and everything. You just need to put dot then, and then this function will run immediately there is a result. So this function here takes in another function as a param. So we're going to say function, like so. Put those function brackets that we know, and then let's do this. Okay, like that. So in the then, we can run an anonymous function in there. Now the reason we need this anonymous function, see, this is a function already, but in there it's getting another function. The reason is that we need to pass the data that is returned, so here, or what we call the response. So in our case, we're just going to say response like this. Okay, so we are putting this here because we know that once the data is returned, this is going to run, but the moment it's run, it's going to be given whatever the response was in whatever variable you put here. So I can name this variable A. It doesn't really matter. As long as it finds a variable there, it's going to put that data in there. So we just like to call it response because it's a response, right? So we'll come back here and say, okay, response. Let's see what's inside response, yeah? It's very nice to always see what is inside, like so. Because sometimes you can get overwhelmed and not remember what functions to run or what this is really, the response. So let's check it out. So I'm going to refresh here and let's try and fetch some data. So look at that, the response came back. So what is this response? It's a response object, obviously, but it's got some interesting things here. It's got headers right there. So we can check what headers were returned. It seems there are no headers. It's oh, there are headers. So the status here we can check. It was 200, which means okay. And this was the URL. So there's plenty here to look at in the header. Then there's also the body. But what we're interested in is down here in the prototype, and that's the JSON function. Look at that. .json. It's a function. So if we run this function, it converts whatever we've returned into JSON. Very cool. But we also have this function here called text. Now text returns any text that was returned, but JSON returns any JSON. So now the thing here to be careful about is you must, before using this data JSON, you must know that your response, you must be sure that it's JSON that you're getting, right? Otherwise you get some JSON errors there. That's why I prefer to just get the text and then check if it's cool and then edit that text or convert it to JSON later on. So those are the two functions we want, JSON and text. So let's see here. I'm just going to say console.log response.text. Yes? Nice. Now remember, this is a function, so you have to put those brackets like so. Now the reason I know it's a function is because look here, it says it's a function. Where is this? JSON function. Yeah, it's a function. And here text, it's a function. Status text, these are not function, they're just data. Okay, goody. So let's come back here and do the honors. So I'm going to empty the console so that we receive new data. And okay, what am I receiving here? This is not good. Oh, I haven't refreshed the page. Sorry, my bad. Fetch again. Wait, I'm still getting a promise. Oh, there we go. It too is a promise, apparently. because it's a child of a promise. Look at that. So I'm getting some text. So if you notice here, this is actually JSON, but because I'm getting it as text, it's being, all these things are being escaped, like the new line, these double quotes are being escaped, etc., etc. However, if I display this in the browser, you won't see these slashes everywhere because they're just for escaping the data. So let's try and do that, shall we? So the same way we got this output and did that, copy, we're going to do exactly the same thing here. So we get the output thingy there, we put loading, and then once the whole thing is done, we're just going to do exactly what we did here, copy and put that here, boom. But this time, instead of response text, we're going to get response.text like this. There we go. Let's put that here. Paste. Yes. So let's see what result we get. Not in the console, but over here. So refresh and let's click fetch. Ooh. So now we got an object, which is the promise itself. So that's not text really, is it? No, it isn't. So back here, let's see how we can actually convert this into actual text. So let's come back and do a console.log again. So this is what you do when you are receiving an object or something you don't know. Just try to find, put it in the console and observe it. So let's fetch here, and it's still a promise, right? So it's dot value. So this is the thing that actually has the text. Okay, so the reason we're having that issue is because the fetch here is designed in this way. It's chained like this. It's designed to have a pre-processing phase. So let me explain that a little bit here. So it's supposed to be like this, fetch, and then since it's a function, and then dot then like this. But then we need to have another dot then like this. And then if you want, you can have a catch to catch your errors like so. So this is chaining in object-oriented programming. So here we do the fetching, and then here we process the returned result, and then here we use that processed returned result from there. And then here we'll get any errors, if any. So at this point, we're doing the pre-processing, which is right here. And then we need to do another dot then to actually use the value. So you can see this is evident here on the API, as it gives you a script on how this works. You see there's two dot then, and then there's dot then. Even though they're using this syntax, which is newer, like this, but these are just functions here. It may be a little bit confusing to see things like this if you're used to the old version. So that's why I'm trying to use the old version and not this type, so that you can see things a little bit more clearly. So let's see how we can do that. So here, this point here is consuming this response text, and so we can't use it again here. So what we need to do here is to just return whatever format that we want to receive on the other side. So in our case, we just want, oh, let me put R there, return. I just want the response to be text. So that's why I'm using response text. If you know your result is JSON, you can use JSON. But I hardly ever use this. I just use .text. That way I can send anything, whether there are errors in there, etc., etc. I can receive them and process them myself. So then we have to do another dot then here, and then we put a function just like it is here, and then this time we have data instead of a response. Now keep in mind that these are just variables, so we can name these anything that we want. The same thing with data here. These are just variables. It's just that at this point we can do a console.log and we'll get a good result. But instead of that, I want to get this and put it here the same way we were sending the data to the output div, I want to do exactly that, but instead here we'll put data because that's what will contain the data in there. And then we can also do a .catch. That way we get errors in case of any. So just give that variable name error like that, and then we can do the same thing, but instead we'll put error here, and I can remove the pre-tag because this is just going to be a single error like so. So look at that. This is much cleaner and much neater than having to do this, and I think it's much easier to remember to do this. Okay, just fetch .then. Okay, so there's .then, the first one here, and then the second .then, and then catch like that. So let's test this and see if it works. So refresh the page, and then let's fetch, and there we go. So we have fetched our data. Let's try and fetch another number here, just so it doesn't seem cached. Oops, refresh, fetch, loading, and then we fetched. No problem. Let's fetch one without the comments, like so. Refresh and fetch. Okay, fetching. Come on. It's taking its sweet time here. Okay, so while we wait, okay, there we go. The data has been received. Now, the thing is, we can do much more with fetch than this because, for example, when you're dealing with APIs, they'll tell you that you need to send your credentials, you need to send the headers, you need to put this in the body, you need to do this and that. So all that information, the same way we are putting headers on the PHP side, we can do that here as well by just putting a second parameter of an object, and then we can add things like a header or other things, etc., etc. So we're going to see how to do that in the next video.